What's one common misconception about wellness and hospitality that you'd like to clear up?
To my knowledge, it's that wellness is about spa or fitness. That's
Mhm.
probably the misconception that I've noticed. And wellness goes way beyond that, right? It's about the balance, the health, the sustainability, the balance of the traveler, for example, in our case, the community and the environment. So it's way beyond spa and fitness that typically people consider. So I would say that's the misconception in wellness.
Welcome to the Sustainable Hospitality Podcast, where we interview industry leaders in all areas of sustainable hospitality and tourism. I am your host, Kathy Sue McGuire, President and CEO of Sustainable Hospitality Solutions. We specialize in gaining internationally recognized ECO certifications for hotels, venues, events, and destinations. Enjoy the episode. Welcome, everyone, to the Sustainable Hospitality Podcast. I'm your host, Kathy Sue McGuire, and today I'm very delighted to have with us Oxana Spivey. She's the Vice President of Wellness and Standards and Development at WITT, which stands for Wellness in Travel and Tourism, a mission driven organization advancing wellness certification for hotels and resorts. With over 20 years of experience in hospitality and wellness, Oksana is an advocate and leader in wellness travel, combining her industry expertise with a deep commitment to mind body well being. We need more of that. She leads the development of forward thinking standards that empower properties worldwide to deliver meaningful, transformative, and wellness conscious guest experiences, shaping the future of wellness in travel. Welcome, Oksana.
Thank you, Kathy, so much. Thank you for inviting me to the podcast, and thank you for such a wonderful bio that you said.
Yeah,
It's sometimes strange.
you're very accomplished.
Yeah, it's sometimes strange to hear this kind of things about yourself.
Exactly. So first, let's start with WIT, Wellness in Travel and Tourism. And you have just, well, not just, but you've just recently launched something new and exciting. So let's talk about what WIT is, first of all, and what led to the creation of this certification program.
Wow. So yes, WIT is the leader in wellness certification space for hotels. Something like that has not existed before 3 years now ago. So it's the leading certification body that is independent, third party, and it certifies and evaluates hotels for wellness. The whole program is based on 100 plus criteria that foundationally was developed on 5 pillars of wellness, which is healthy eating, holistic healing, nature, movement, and local impact. And we saw the need in the industry. Truly, there was space for sustainability. There are many successful certifications in that area, but no one really looked at wellness holistically when it came to hospitality and travel industry. For example, like you've said, I've spent about 20 years in hospitality, more on a new build side, building hotels, renovating, working for bigger companies and brands like Marriott headquarters, Citizen M, Ambridge Hospitality. And personally, I didn't see the kind of focus on wellness, even though in personal life, I was yoga teacher, life coach, I danced professionally growing up. So I lived that wellness life. But in the industry that is a hospitality industry, it truly wasn't present. So there was a gap. There was a gap. And that's what our founder, Robin Ruiz, noticed while her background is heavily in travel industry. She saw the niche, and in her personal life, she also struggled with that. She very often tells story about how her parents were researching vacation in Aruba, and they found this resort that claimed to have everything they were looking for. And when they arrived, it wasn't the case. So from her personal many stories, she wanted to create something like that and develop. So she had that idea. And of course, the team just joined this amazing mission because we personally also struggled with that. So the certification really provides foundation framework for hotels to really understand what wellness means when it comes to hospitality and how they can really create that path to deliver to the travelers, because travelers now are very much looking for that. They need the confirmation this is what they're looking for. They don't want to waste time. They really truly care where their money and funds are going, because truly wellness is not just about our health, it's also health of the community and the land. And especially younger generation, they're thinking much more forward because they're going to be living on this planet. So how can this be sustainable way of traveling? So
I so much relate to that because as a sustainable hospitality consultant, when it comes to just sustainability, which is environmental and social responsibility, it's like a silo initiative. You've got a couple of initiatives here and there, and you claim, that you're sustainable. But until, we do have certifications now, many worldwide, that can be achieved that's third party verified so that you are doing what you claim you're doing. It's verified so that guests can find that, and travelers can find that certification. On a lot of the booking agents now, well, most of them now require it before they'll even put a badge next to your hotel name. And it has to be verified by a third independent organization. So one of the things that I've seen also is wellness. It's if you have a spa, then you're a wellness property, and that's, yes, those are really nice things to have wellness. But if you're using heavy pesticides every month all throughout just dousing the property and inside and out with pesticides, that's not really conducive to wellness. And indoor air quality is another one. Yes, that's a sustainable thing, but it's the quality of the air that helps. And let me tell you, one of the other things is that clean does not have a smell. So when you're spraying fragrances that a lot of people are allergic to, that doesn't help either. So let's go to our next question here. You mentioned there are 5 key pillars. Let's do a deep dive. The first one, healthy eating. So what does that category look for to get healthy eating uh, points, if you will?
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Healthy eating is one of our well, all of them are pretty important, but it's our first on the list typically, because what we consume really how we feel, right?
Mhm.
So when we evaluate hotels, we under this pillar we look for nutrient dense menu, and the variety can be up to the hotel. We do look at different types of menus. It can be vegetarian, vegan, etc., but we truly don't enforce anything because we don't expect a steakhouse to deliver salads and greens. So it's okay to have a variety, and that's what we look for. When a
Mhm.
guest arrives at a property and stay, for example, for 3-4 days, can they eat at different types of foods, not just a steak or just a
Yes.
salad, right?
Yeah.
And so we look for that nutritional meal. We also look for, can the property accommodate all the preferences, and very much important, the restrictions, allergies, because that's a big thing right now. And
Mhm.
uh, gluten-free, yes, it can create, gluten, for example, can create inflammation, but for some people, it can go even farther and create an
Mhm.
allergy. So we'll look for those things. And for example, and if property can, for some reason, accommodate with something, can they readily be available to recommend something nearby where the traveler can go and have a nice meal where this property that doesn't have it, right? So we'll look
Hmm.
at those kind of things. And of course, a lot of emphasis is on organic, local, sustainable. But realistically, we still keep in mind that even at our grocery stores, 100% organic is still not a norm. So we'll look for that, we advocate for that, but we understand that hotel will have what the grocery store will have. So we understand that connection as well. But ultimately, it is the goal to have organic and preferably seasonal and locally sourced.
Yeah, I like that idea. I live in South Florida and we have very little in the way of organic farming. I mean, we have a lot of farming out west, like in the center part of the state. And it's most of it is not organic. And so it's local, but it's not organic. And so sometimes there are certain items I have to buy that come from California or elsewhere within the country that are organic because I just choose to eat that way. So it's nice that you have the flexibility as long as there are considerations built into the menus and the offerings. So that's great. So the my next question is about holistic healing, was just your second pillar. Tell us about that.
Holistic healing is quite a wide pillar, and we wanted that to be that way. It encompasses all the amenities that property has to offer or has on site. It encompasses the services, the practices that is offered to the travelers, but it also focuses on the complete environment of the hotel. We can talk about the furniture, we can talk about the air quality, we can talk about the lighting, the pretty much all five senses, if you speak about it that way. So we do look at how would you feel walking into this property, because ultimately everything affects you when you are in a space. So how does property really also presents themselves? Is it a welcoming environment? How does property really treats a guest before even arrival and post arrival, post departure? So it encompasses everything that affects the traveler when they are at property, from service to the environment itself. And we, of course, look at the level of professionalism when it comes to the treatment rooms, spa, right? Because spa is a big element in that. But we want to make sure that hotels understand that if you don't have a spa, it's perfectly okay. Because
Yeah.
spa doesn't equally means holistic healing. It's an element of it, but holistic healing is such a big spectrum. It can be really truly anything. It can be a traditional ritual that is locally connected to the land, or it could be a traditional, massage, spa oriented treatment. So, or it can be that beautiful serene space in the hotel where people can sit by the fountain, water fountain, just relax and read a book. So truly, it's how it's how travelers emerged into that space where they can just simply exhale and feel relaxed and rejuvenated. And we understand that there are different levels, right? It can be a strictly retreat type of location where everything is probably built for that. But it can be that city hotel where people arrive for business, or they come there with a family to go to museums, for example, in New York City. You can still create that environment where people, after a chaotic but fun day in the city, can come back and really be immersed in a very nice space where they can get a good night's sleep. That's another element that we'll look at. How hotel encompasses that element, because ultimately how it started back in the day, hotels would only focus on great bed, like a mattress, workable TV, and a hot shower. That's kind
Yes.
of what was the goal back in the day when I was still part of hospitality directly. But now it's not even a minimum anymore. So, but sleep is definitely one important element that many hotels still struggle to accomplish, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
I have to just add here, it's really it's not that difficult. It's just a mindset that we are going to do this. So, for example, a client I had for a few years, SCP Hotels, they started that hotel brand. It stands for Soul Community Planet. And they built that brand, husband and wife team, with wellness in mind. And they offer all those things for really good sleep, and they offer, yoga mats and all different kinds of things for wellness that's just built into the entire experience, whether it's in your guest room or you can go to a reading room and they have books that you can read on the shelf and things like that. Maybe a yoga a practice. They have someone come in, on a certain day or something, and do some yoga with the guests, and just so many things. And depending on the location of their property, they do incorporate those things. And one of the other things that I was always curious about when you go to get a massage, yes, that's just holistic healing right there, well-being. But if they're using a product, a massage oil that's got toxic chemicals in it, it's not so much. Do you look at products when you're thinking about this? Do you examine those or have any requirements?
absolutely, yeah, this is more under a local impact
Mhm.
pillar, but yes, absolutely. We do look at product and we will look for eco-friendly product. The challenge, you probably already know that, the challenge sometimes with hotels is that they're public space. So they still have to use, for example, cleaning products that have to have chemicals per rules, right? Like maybe a pool has to have a chlorine. So I think we will see change in the industry overall. I hope so. But that is still sometimes, unless property is potentially a family owned or very, boutique type of hotel, then they can set their own kind of parameters. But when it's
Yeah.
a larger brand, they have such strong rules what to
Yes.
use. So would take that into consideration, but absolutely, we do advocate for eco-friendly products that really don't put too much chemicals into your body. You're absolutely right that you get a massage and it's considered to be holistic healing and it's nice for you, but if they use those chemicals, then it contradicts itself.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that's why WIT was born, really, is to set those standards to
Mhm.
not even just evaluate and certify hotels, but also educate, right? Educate and give that platform for even connect hotels to the right suppliers as well. How do we really, as a industry, evolve together? Because it has to happen together. Because suppliers will provide what demand is. And by demand, we mean us, travelers, and then hotels assist us with delivering that product. So what do we want? We do want eco-friendly products. And that's what certification is doing is we, research-based information that came from travelers now is being implemented in the certification. And ultimately, framework is presenting to hotels what is needed. And we advocate for eco-friendly product. So yeah.
One of the questions I'm asked the most by hotels is, yeah, we'd like to have those reusable, sustainable spa slippers, but where do we get them? And it's many products that, well, we don't know where to find them because all of your major procurement companies that the big brands use, I've dealt with them. I've gotten in touch and said, these are the items I need to find that are eco-friendly. And they don't have any. Most of these companies are small. There's at least one organization where companies have to pay $25,000 a year to be vetted by them or recertified, if you will, to be part of their list of companies. And so people who are being innovative and small don't have access to that. And maybe for whatever reason, they can't get into these larger procurement companies for hotels. Maybe they don't have the volume, that maybe there's a requirement for volume type of thing. So I've been thinking about this a lot, and I'm creating a sustainable suppliers series for my podcast where I'm going out to find these products, and maybe I'll put together a directory because they're kind of mixed in with everybody else, like, different organizations, it's pay to play. You pay, to be one of their green vendors or whatever, but maybe they're not really vetted very well. And so I'm thinking about that because I think that's a barrier. They don't know where to go. There's not a one-stop shop where, oh, I know, go to this place and you can find whatever you need, whether it's cosmetics or spa products, slippers, things like that. So we'll see where that goes. I'm just getting started on it.
Thank
So
you for mentioning.
nature, yeah, go
Thank you for
ahead.
mentioning that because I was going to mention we've taken that initiative as well, and we're finalizing that list right now for hotels, and it's part of our benefits for the certified hotels because we also
Yes.
receive questions from hotels wanting to know. One example just stands out in my head is property we certified in Australia. They reached out to us and said, in our country, it's still kind of a limited, access to all of this stuff. So can you help us? So, and we've heard other hotels saying the same thing. So I think it is important to do that, and we've taken the steps forward, and it will be available. Actually, it's already available, but it's being built as we speak. So thank you for mentioning
Oh,
that, Kat.
good. Oh, good. I'm good. I don't have to do it. I was like, I need another thing to do here, but I didn't see anybody else doing it. So we'll talk after and we'll compare lists. How's that?
Sounds wonderful.
Good.
Sounds wonderful.
The next pillar is nature. The connection to nature is powerful in wellness. How do we evaluate a property's integration with its natural surroundings? And if it's an urban hotel, how can it still meet that pillar? Maybe by bringing nature inside?
Yeah. Nature pillar is one of my favorite. I am a nature person. So I go on walks every day. That keeps me grounded and balanced and harmonized. And I truly believe it needs to be part of our life, especially in this technological age, which, we love technology because it helps us to do this right now, to run podcasts, to connect with friends and family across the world. It's to heal ourselves, right? But nature presents so much on on a level of healing as well, right?
Mhm.
And I can go on and on and on about this because from my personal background, but when it comes to nature pillar for hotels here, we really look at how hotel is able to emerge with natural elements and nature. And either it's the city hotel or not city. Of course, parameters are different. We
Mhm.
understand that. But all types of hotels have to consider that because nature heals and it's a fact from,
Yeah.
scientists already speak about that. So, of course, we look at what natural elements inside of the property. And of course, it can be green walls, it can be plants, it can be any type of water fountains, but also what is the furniture made out of, right?
Yeah.
Furniture and light in open space lighting, skylight. So we look at all of those elements that bring nature inside and preferably without harming it, right? And of course, when it comes to outside, what is the landscape? Are there any activities that travelers and guests can do outside? Um, Sitting in the park, going for a walk, connecting to nature and really relaxing. And when it's an urban hotel, I guess I would bring brand one as an example, because they have really done a good job showcasing how it can be done, because their focus is city hotels. I don't think they have any retreats or destinational resorts. They focus on being in a city. So they brought a lot of elements inside of the property. They are very sustainable, and they have green walls and fountains and rooftops. I think they even have some sort of saunas on top of the roof. I've seen it at a few hotels. So they do a great job doing that. And it's interesting you bring this up. We just had our monthly meeting with Standard Advisory Committee yesterday, and we were discussing this pillar. And one member mentioned that potentially, if there is for people to be challenged to go outside, because our mission with this certification is to really become accessible to all people, inclusion, accessibility, and also when it comes to hotels, because we certify different types of hotels, as long as their intent and focus is to be well, to be a wellness property or enhance that what they've got. So the member of the Standard Advisory Committee mentioned potentially to have some sort of even technological connection to nature if a person cannot get outside, right? You know, those beautiful videos with nature, you can, because it does affect your mental state
Like
when you
images of coral reefs and all the colorful fish and corals and things like that is what I love to look at. Yes.
absolutely, yes. So that can be also incorporated if there is a challenge to get to the outside, to be connected directly with nature. So we look at all the elements that are there, but it's important. You know, it's important to have that connection with nature. It's a part of.
It's called biophilic design, bringing
Mhm.
nature, inside. And if you, go to Google Images and put that in, you could see some really beautiful hotels that have done that. So that's really great. Something else I'm just remembering is Office Depot had their headquarters just about 30 miles south of where I live in Boca Raton, and they're LEED Gold certified. And when they first opened that building, I was a member of the U.S. Green Building Council, and we were brought on a tour. And as soon as you walked in there, I've never had a feeling like that ever. There was no smell, no fragrance, but it was so refreshing. It just like filled I was shocked. I was like, did they put something in the air? Because I just felt amazing. And so if you've never been in a building like that or brought that kind of healthy environment indoors, you can't even imagine. So obviously, I'd never been in a really healthy building before because it literally took my breath away. And I've never forgotten it. I just like, I think I need to make another trip down there because I need it. It's almost like getting like pure oxygen or something. It's so refreshing. So yeah, I love all that. So the next pillar is movement, and movement is more than a gym or taking a walk outside. So what does WIT look for in terms of physical activity options or movement options?
Yeah, yeah, movement is definitely a big part of the wellness. And, you know, traditionally, we are going directly to the fitness location, right? But not every hotel either was built with the space, because I've been in a built environment, and a lot of times that space is just kind of added at the end because they typically either forget about it or there's not enough space left,
Yeah.
and they will create 200 by 300 small little gym that you don't even want to go.
Yeah, it
So
wasn't designed, the building wasn't designed for that. So yeah, you have to get creative.
you do. So of course, we do look at fitness facilities, but if property does have a fitness facility, it really needs to be a healthy way to be there, right? Is there enough space for everyone? if it's 400 room property and it's a tiny gym, is it really considered to be a healthy space to exercise? Other equipment that are up to date and functional, others, clean air and open windows, do you really want to be there? And do they really supply, even healthy snacks maybe afterwards? Like it really needs
Yeah.
to expand on a much bigger level, because traditionally it's even, like many times when I've traveled, I had an intent to go to the gym and then I never did, because I know the experience will not be satisfying. So properties that do have gyms, they really need to think how they do it and how they enhance what they have. So we do look at gyms, absolutely, because a lot of men love it. They love going and, doing lifting and all that stuff. And we have a few members on a committee that are fitness oriented, so we speak about it a lot. But at the same time, just like you mentioned, we look at all types of movements. That's why we call the pillar movement and not fitness. And
Mm-hmm.
movement can be as simple as property incorporates stairs. So encourages guests to maybe even take stairs. Small thing, but it adds those steps to your day after flying on a plane and sitting and being stiff. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so are there any classes, right? Either fitness classes or yoga classes or any type of classes that can be, Zumba, any type of uh, kind of creative ways that property wants to entertain their guests is a plus. Are there any leisure sports outside of the property? And of course, that's more connected to retreats and resorts.
Mm-hmm.
But a property in the urban setting can offer bikes and guide travelers to the hikes nearby.
Mm-hmm.
Even in Manhattan, you can go to the Central Park. But if you are there for the first time and you don't know how to go around it, and hotel says nothing about it, it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
help. So hotel has to be ready to really assist with that and say, okay, we have these bikes, we have this path toward the uh, uh, Central Park. Please take that if you need to and if it's part of
Yeah.
your routine. So it's also how you communicate those things to
Yeah.
travelers, right?
Well, one of the things that I always think of when I go to a fitness center at a hotel, it's built for men. There's not enough variety for women because we're physiologically different, and it's very intimidating because heavy weights and a couple of treadmills, and it's like, that's not really what I wanted to do. Also for kids, kids have a lot of energy. There needs to be some kind of kids club, some kind of activity, even if it's in a function room where they're just having some fun exercises or something like that, and going upstairs, like maybe creating a scavenger hunt, but you have to go up the stairs to find the different items on the list. And I don't know, there's just a lot of creative ways to do that sort of thing. So yeah, I hope that hotels are, when they're looking at wellness, will consider women and children a little differently there.
You brought up a good point. We do evaluate on customization. It's becoming a very big element in hospitality as a trend where you if you don't have something set up, how can you accommodate individuals to have access to specific things, right? One example, can you accommodate women that don't want to really, you know, be in a space where there's heavy lifting, right? Or if the class is not for you, is there a different class for you for your type of level of energy and activity? So we'll look at how accommodation is available at the site and other different types, because people are so different. Wellness is such a subjective thing that's why we had to create the framework, because it's such a subjective thing. And how can you think, one thing is great for another, but another thing is not great for the same person? So very good
I
point.
like, yeah, I like that you're looking at if a hotel was built without any of these things in mind, and they're doing the best they can there. But if as long as they're curating what's around them and telling people like, hey, if you wanted a little exercise, why don't you go join the beach cleanup? We're right on the beach. That's happening tomorrow, at 8 a.m. or whatever. And that could be a fun activity for the family. And sometimes they have a contest who can pick up the most trash, and they weigh it in when you come in and things like that. So there are ways. I like that you're looking at that because it's the same thing with recycling. Hotels weren't built to have multiple containers out on the loading dock. A compactor for cardboard and a compactor for plastic and cans, and then another recycling container for paper. It's just there's not, you need four big containers back there, and they're not designed for that. So that's very limiting as well. So I like that you're looking at that. And then the next one is local impact, the fifth pillar. So this ties closely to sustainability. So what types of community engagement or cultural integration qualify here, and how do you differentiate between authentic impact and surface level gestures?
Yeah, local impact is the heart of our mission, truly, as an organization, because health and well-being really cannot stop at us, at the traveler or guest or even a human being. It extends to community and it extends to the environment and the land. So this is truly our, mission to make wellness accessible and to really affect not just the humanity, but also the land where we live and our communities. So under this pillar, we focus how hotel really engages with local community. And you just brought up a great example. That could be one example how hotel can invite guests, one, to move their body, right? And two, really help the local environment while they're
Mhm.
staying. And of course, staff has to also participate in that. Um, Staff being trained on all of this, information and pillars and wellness has to have that in their belt and be embodied in that, and then present it to travelers. So, how's hotel really engaging through so many ways? There is so many ways that we look at it. We've brought that up already. Uh, Products, right? Products. Is there artisan products? Is there farm to table product? I mean, a program. Is there maybe
Local honey.
local honey, local artwork, any type of way that hotel can bring local, in a sense, business or collaborate with them? That's what we advocate for, because ultimately this property hospitality is such an impactful business in the area that if they don't collaborate with locals, then they miss out, I believe, and they not, assisting local businesses to really thrive in the environment. So we look at any types of way that they engage with the community. And then the second level of this pillar is, of course, sustainability. We do look at whether building is LEED certified or any other certification is there. If property doesn't have any certification, that's okay, because a lot of them still do have practices that they incorporate. It doesn't
Mhm.
necessarily have to be certified. So yes, what are the products at the property? What are the practices, operational practices? Are there waste management, water consumption management, solar panels, right? Recycling, plastic. Like we'll look at all of these things that potentially property can incorporate and really assist the land and the community truly, because like I said, well-being is doesn't stop with the traveler. It only begins there. And
Exactly. One of the things I love that we have here locally is we have the Loggerhead Marine Life Center. It's a turtle hospital, and it's huge. It's very important, and they also have these turtle walks where, the loggerheads are coming up on shore and they're laying their eggs. And you can go for a turtle walk at night, but you only have flashlights that have red lights. It's only red lighting because it confuses the turtles when there's lights. And we also have the condos that are on the beach, have dim their lights or turn certain lights off that are pointed at that area and things like that. But that's another activity. And a lot of hotels here, donate money and services and volunteerism to help that organization because it's so important. It's so huge, and everybody loves a turtle. I mean, I have to tell you, I was very involved with them, and I went to my first turtle release, and I cried my eyes out. When you see this turtle who's been, in a pool in captivity recuperating for 2 years, and they sent her on her way that day, and they have this thing on her back with an antenna so they can keep tabs on her, and she didn't forget what to do. She slowly made her way through the sand and everything. When the waves started, I'm getting emotional now, started crashing over her. It's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. And it always gets a large crowd. The media is out there every time they do a turtle release. So those are the kinds of things you look for in your community for that local impact, right?
That's beautiful. It's exactly a great, such a beautiful example. How can we really live in unity with the land, with the animals? I
Hmm.
go on walks and I pick up worms and put them on the ground, right? When they're on the walking path. It's just, it's not that hard. Like it's because it's directly affecting us, right? If we are kind to the land and the environment, it will be kind to us. And it's a very big topic, and it's very dear to my heart as well. So um, we strongly advocate for that.
Yeah,
Through
I've even
us.
and you see it all the time. There isn't anybody, if there's a turtle, a gopher turtle, land turtle crossing the road, everybody stops. And somebody, a brave person, because it's a big turtle and I don't really want to touch it because I'm afraid if I tried to pick it up and I couldn't, it might flop over on its back. So, I'll flag somebody else down. I said, and you pick them up and you put them on the other side. And we have a lot of ducks because we have a lot of man-made lakes. And when a mother duck has 13 little chicks behind her and she's crossing the road to get to the other side for the water on the other side, everybody stops. It's just a wonderful thing to see. So as
Yeah.
far as your certification process and structure, so can you just walk us through, you apply and from application to approval, how are the properties scored? And is there baseline criteria in each of the pillars? And is certification a one-time process, or are there ongoing improvements for renewal and that sort of thing?
Yeah, certification is 3 year, and then properties can recertify. And with each recertification, they actually gain another layer of another tier. So from initial WITT certified, they in 3 years become gold, and then in 6 years they become platinum, and then they become diamond. So they are
Oh,
being
nice.
awarded with that. So we advocate for their commitment, and because more you're committed to that, then your rank in a sense grows, and we admire that, and we do give them different seal for that additional 3 year certification. But when it comes to process, it's pretty straightforward. It actually lives on our website. um, Hotels can read on our certification page the processes, and there is application already on the website living, and the application requires self-assessment. So
Mhm.
property can easily self-assess themselves and submit application. They can see
Kind of to
it.
see where they are.
Yes, absolutely. It's very transparent what we're requiring. And going back to our recent launch, actually earlier this week, of core wellness standards that it's our latest initiative that was presented facing public. It lays the path to hotels to understand what is required to be able to apply for certification and also understand where they stand when it comes to wellness overall, when it comes to hospitality. So they apply, then we take a look at that. If they pass the initial self-assessment, then we take them to the next step of additional documentation, thorough questionnaire. After that, we do the audit. Then we prepare very thorough reports highlighting what we found, highlighting some areas of excellence and improvement. And if property meets all the requirements, they receive the seal and they're certified. They're listed on our website directory, receive eco-friendly plaque, all the digital assets that they can highlight, whether on their channels, website, wherever they want. And also they receive additional help through our support to grow beyond that point. And we also offer online course as an exclusive offer, then training staff, we have that, and also supplier directory to connect them to the suppliers. It's all included. And if property for some reason doesn't meet the basic requirement of the certification, then we offer 1 hour complimentary consultation. And if they need more help, they can also work with us beyond that. They can, of course, implement changes themselves. They have about 3 months to do that. But if they do need help, they can also, we can assist through consultation services as well. And did I miss anything else that you asked?
I just wanted, excuse me, I just wanted to ask you about the audit, the verification. Do you do that in-house or is it third party?
We do that in-house. Right now we do first year virtual audit. And then second and third year, we ask for a review. So audit doesn't have to be, but we check in with the hotel, make sure that every paperwork they submitted previous year is still standing. If not, then we would request additional audit, but it's an exception. And then when they recertify, there is another audit with the recertification program. So yeah.
Okay, great. What partnerships and expansion are you well, the expansion is that core standard. So that's great. So who else are you working with? Any partnerships on tourism boards, hotel brands, or other certification bodies or anything like that?
Yeah, great question. Well, we do have partnerships with number of media, magazines, media partners, because we do like to write about, WITT certification and WITT seal, and also highlight some hotels that we have partnership with. And the biggest partnership right now that also was announced actually earlier this month is with Wellness Tourism Association. And you probably know or heard that it ended its path sometime, I believe in June, I can't remember the exact date. And the WITT CEO and founder right now is the CEO and president of Wellness Tourism Association. So right now we're in strategic partnership with WTA, and there is so much that probably will be happening, but those that are interested to become the member of WTA, please reach out to either Robin or directly to WTA on the website and explore that, because it's a new initiative that came around. But they're one of our strategic partner. And of course, we consistently explore and expand. And in fact, if anyone is interested to become a partner with us, please reach out. We will explore. We're always open. It's amazing and it's needed. We only can do this together.
Yes.
It's a
Yeah,
team.
it's a especially when something is new and not built into the mindset and infrastructure of a business. It's like same thing with sustainability. It's like, oh my gosh, we got to do all this these new things. It requires more thinking power, and time and change is hard. And so there's always those same barriers. But once it gets embedded into your regular business operations, that should be the goal, then it's just like anything else that you're doing at the hotel. You're making the bed, it's a way you set the table. It's that it's a the way you recycle or your wellness initiative. So it all goes hand in hand. Eventually it's just getting people to take that leap and make that little bit of change, because you don't have to do it all at once. That's what I keep trying to express to people. It's like, oh my god, it's going to be so much work, but you can do a little bit at a time over time. So right. So final thoughts. What's one common misconception about wellness and hospitality that you'd like to clear up?
To my knowledge, it's that wellness is about spa or fitness. That's probably the misconception that I've noticed. And wellness goes way beyond that, right? It's about the balance, the health, the sustainability, the balance of the traveler, for example, in our case, the community and the environment. So it's way beyond spa and fitness that typically people consider. So I would say that's the misconception in wellness. A lot of education we have to do.
Yes, we do. Absolutely. So, yeah, go ahead.
And speaking of education, I wanted to mention we actually have online course, Wellness Foundations course that anyone can really take who are interested in wellness travel, whether you are professional in travel and hospitality or not. It's available on our website. More than welcome to take that, because education is such a big element for us as well. Speaking of, people think wellness is spa and fitness. And one other thing we do is we train staff as well at hotel to incorporate wellness to the.
Oh, that's really great. Well, then that leads me to my final question. Where can people find you?
The best place is our website, WITTcertified.com. That's where you can find, our contact information, our course, everything about the certification, the core wellness standards that hotels can really review and make sure that they have that. And LinkedIn, our social media as well, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Look for WITT Certified and they will be able to find us. We would love to connect with them.
That's great. This has just been a really wonderful interview with you. I appreciate your time so much and teaching us everything about WITT certification. That's wellness and travel and tourism. Oxana Spivey, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Kathy, so much for inviting and your expertise. And it's beautiful that we're making this world better and better, one step at a time.
That's right. Well, we'll talk soon. I have some other questions for you for my own personal edification, if you will. So thank you again, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to the Sustainable Hospitality Podcast. If you're ready to take meaningful action and set your property apart as a leader in sustainability, my company, Sustainable Hospitality Solutions, is here to help. Our Achieving Green Keys certification training program provides hotels with a clear step-by-step path to earning this internationally recognized eco certification. Please go to sustainablehospitalitytraining.com. Thank you.